Today's episode, we're going to be learning about customer life cycles, customer journeys, and how you can use automation for that. But we're going to do it by using Google's new Notebook LM feature. I'll explain more in just a second. This episode of the Automation Show is going to be a little different than what we've done in the past. We don't have a guest on the show, but I want to showcase Google's Notebook LM technology in action. Now, I am a big fan of AI. I'm a huge fan of making it more productive for you by using AI tools. And this one kind of blew my mind. Notebook LM is really a tool to help you research and bring data together, get summaries, get briefing documents. But there's an audio feature on there that you can actually get it to create an audio overview of the content in which you give it. So in this example, I uploaded 3 documents. I uploaded a Small Business Automation Handbook, a 24 proven automation tactics for a perfect customer lifecycle, and a copy of my customer experience book that I wrote, all of PDF versions. And I created the audio overview. So I'm going to play the audio overview. It's 16 minutes in length. Listen to it from 2 aspects. The first one being, how realistic does it sound? Just so you know, there's 2 people, 2 co-hosts in this recording. These are all AI-generated voices, and they're discussing the content in which I have uploaded to make this episode. The second part is listen to the content. The content is key. The content is very valuable information if you're interested in automation, customer journeys, customer life cycles. So take a listen to this, and I'd love to know what you think. So when you're done, if you want to send me an email at hello@bluecowmarketing.ca, let me know that you heard it and what you thought about this technology.
Hey everyone, we're diving deep today into using automation to make your customer lifecycle even better. You've given us some really great resources. 24 plus proven automations for your perfect customer lifecycle. The Customer Experience Book, and the Small Business Automation Handbook. I think we can pull out some really awesome stuff from these to get you going.
Yeah, these look great. It's not just about throwing automation at everything, though. It's really about using it strategically to make the whole experience feel more personalized and more valuable for your customers. And that's something we'll be digging into today.
Absolutely. I love that. And, both 24 plus proven automations and the Small Business Automation Handbook talk about these 4 core stages of a perfect customer life cycle. Collect leads, convert clients, create fans, and then conquer internal chaos. I know I could use some help with that last one.
Me too. It's interesting, though, because every business kind of already has this life cycle happening naturally, right? People come in, they buy things, maybe they come back, or maybe they don't. We're really just taking control and optimizing that flow.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And something that stood out to me from the Small Business Automation Handbook was that you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
You don't need to hit some magic number of customers or revenue to start automating. What are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree. It's all about getting those benefits to compound over time. If you can automate something from day one, even something simple like a welcome email for new subscribers, that just starts building that relationship early on. And then as your business grows, it's already working for you.
Yeah, like laying a good foundation.
Right.
Makes a ton of sense. So let's talk about lead generation. That first stage, 24 plus proven automations, has a bunch of different tactics. But what should we be thinking about before we even get into the specifics?
Well, the Customer Experience Book is really big on understanding your ideal customer first. Don't try to appeal to absolutely everyone. Get super clear on who you're serving and what their needs are.
So I guess thinking about your own business, what are some of those problems your ideal customer is facing?
The Customer Experience Book has this framework for breaking down problems, which I find really useful. They talk about external problems, internal problems, and philosophical problems. So let's say you're a financial advisor. An external problem might be, I'm in debt. Internal could be, I don't know how to manage my money. But the deeper philosophical problem might be something like, I feel trapped, I'll never achieve my dreams,
Oh, wow. That's so smart. Most businesses probably stop at that external level, right?
Mm.
Just focusing on the debt itself.
Mm.
How do you figure out those deeper problems.
It takes a bit more digging, for sure. You can analyze customer feedback, reviews, surveys, social media comments. What language are they using? What kind of emotions are they expressing? Sometimes even just talking directly to your customers, asking open-ended questions about their goals and frustrations, what they really want out of life.
I love that. Because, yeah, I think so many businesses aren't going deep enough to really understand what's driving their customers. And by addressing those deeper needs, you're not just selling a product or service, you're offering a real solution.
Exactly. And that's how you build those really loyal customers, the ones who stick around.
For sure. Now, I know some people get worried that automation makes things feel impersonal,
Yeah.
like it's all robots and no human connection. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a common concern. But actually, automation can make things more personal, believe it or not. The Small Business Automation Handbook gives this great example of the African Leadership University. They automated parts of their application process and were able to personalize the experience for each applicant and ended up with a 20% increase in applications.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's kind of counterintuitive. By automating those repetitive tasks, it frees you up to actually focus more on building those relationships. It's like having a super efficient assistant who handles all the busy work.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And it's not just about getting new customers either. It's about nurturing those relationships over time.
Right. Customer Experience Book talks a lot about that. The relationship doesn't end at the sale. It's about engaging with your customers and giving them value even after they've made a purchase.
Think of it like buying a car. You have the sales team at first, but then you have those ongoing interactions with the service team. They're invested in keeping you happy even after the initial sale is done.
Oh, I like that analogy. And, speaking of staying engaged, 24 plus proven automations has this cool example. They call it the win back offer. It's an automated email sequence for customers who haven't purchased in a while. Just a little nudge to say, hey, we miss you. Maybe offer a discount to get them back.
That's such a good tactic. Sometimes people just forget about you, and that's all it takes. Just a little reminder.
Yeah, definitely. So much good stuff here. Where should we go next? What are some good starting points for our listener to, start putting all of this into action?
Well, I always recommend starting with the basics. Familiarize yourself with the key terms and concepts. A good place to start is the glossary in the Small Business Automation Handbook.
Good point. And just remember, 24 plus proven automations has different sections for businesses with a one-to-one customer lifecycle, like a coach or consultant, versus a one-to-many lifecycle like an e-commerce store. So make sure you're looking at the strategies that fit your model.
Exactly. And don't try to do everything all at once. Pick one small automation to start with, maybe that welcome email sequence we talked about. Get some wins under your belt, and you'll get more comfortable building from there.
Awesome advice. So as we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, what are some key takeaways that are standing out to you so far?
For me, it's that automation isn't just about efficiency. It's a tool for creating a much better customer experience. It frees you up to focus on what truly matters in your business. Building those relationships, creating amazing products or services, making a real impact.
Couldn't agree more. It's not about replacing human connection. It's about making it even better.
Yeah, and it all starts with understanding your customer and their needs. Once you have that foundation, you can start strategically implementing automations that support that whole customer lifecycle and make it feel truly personalized.
Love it. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll dive into some more specific automation tactics and tools you can use to make all of this happen in your business. Stay with us.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. So, we've been talking a lot about using automation to, improve that customer experience. But there's another side to this that can be just as powerful, and that's internal automation.
Ah, yeah. Getting things running smoothly behind the scenes. It's easy to focus on what the customer sees, but what about all those internal processes that keep everything moving?
Exactly. And the Small Business Automation Handbook has some really good examples of this. Things like billing order fulfillment, even managing contracts with freelancers or vendors. Those are all things that can really eat up your time, but they don't necessarily need a human touch.
Yeah, it's like having a silent partner who takes care of all that tedious stuff, so you can focus on the bigger picture.
And it's not just about saving time for yourself either. It's about creating a more efficient and enjoyable work environment for your team. When they're not bogged down with all those manual processes, they have more time and energy to focus on, the things that really matter.
Makes sense. It's a win-win for everyone. So definitely a lot of value in automating those internal processes. As we go deeper into this world of automation, it's important to remember that technology is always evolving, right?
Oh, absolutely. We got to stay curious, stay adaptable, always looking for new ways to leverage automation to our advantage.
The Small Business Automation Handbook talks about some really cool developments in automation technology. They mention APIs, which sound pretty technical.
Hmm.
What are those all about?
So APIs are basically a way for different software systems to talk to each other. So let's say you're using a CRM to manage your customer relationships, and you've got an email marketing platform to send out your newsletters. An API can connect those two systems so that data is transferred automatically. So when someone signs up for your email list through your website, their information is automatically added to your CRM.
Oh, I see. So you don't have to manually enter everything twice. That saves so much time and, less room for errors.
Exactly. And as you get more comfortable with automation, you can start exploring some even more sophisticated tools and techniques, things like campaign canvases and those advanced automation sequences.
Ooh, those sound intense. What are campaign canvases?
Yeah. Imagine you're creating a choose your own adventure book, but for your customers. That's kind of what a campaign canvas is. It lets you visually map out their journey through your business, taking into account their choices and their behaviors. You can set up triggers and actions based on their specific needs and preferences.
Wow, so it's not just blasting out the same email to everyone.
Yeah.
It's much more dynamic and personalized experience.
Exactly. And these tools can help you automate everything from lead nurturing and onboarding to upselling and even internal reporting.
So you're not just automating tasks, you're automating the analysis of your business as well.
Yeah.
That's powerful stuff.
It really is. It lets you make those data-driven decisions and continuously optimize that whole customer lifecycle. Now, we've been focusing a lot on the practical side of things, but there's also that human element that we can't forget about.
Oh, for sure. We don't want to lose sight of that.
It's about approaching automation with empathy. Focusing on building genuine connections. The customer experience book is really big on this, remembering that there's a real person with their own needs and desires behind every interaction.
I love that. It's so easy to get caught up in the tech and forget that we're ultimately serving people right.
Right. And automation, when it's done right, can actually help us connect with those people on a deeper level. It frees us up from those mundane tasks so we can focus on, building relationships and creating those experiences that make our customers feel valued and appreciated.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are some key things our listeners should be thinking about when it comes to internal automation and this idea of the human element?
I think the most important thing is to approach it with a sense of purpose. Ask yourself, how can I use automation to create a better experience for both my customers and my team? Don't just automate for the sake of automating. Be thoughtful about how you can use these tools to enhance that human element, not replace it.
That's great advice. So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore some specific automation tools and tactics that can bring all of these concepts to life. Get ready to turn those insights into action. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty here. We've talked about the why and the how of automation, but now I really want to get into some of those tools and strategies that you can use in your business. The actual stuff.
Yeah, let's make some automation magic. And one of the most fundamental tools you have is actually pretty simple. The humble web form. It might seem basic, but it's really that gateway to capturing those valuable leads and starting them on their customer journey.
Web forms. Oh yeah, those little boxes asking for your email address and name everywhere online. They're kind of everywhere, right? It's easy to forget how important they are.
Exactly, but that's their beauty.
Yeah.
They're easy to set up, they work seamlessly with your automation platform, and most importantly, they're super user-friendly.
Okay, but how do you make sure those web forms are actually working? Converting those website visitors into actual leads, I imagine just putting a form up isn't quite enough.
You got it. That's where the art of lead capture comes in. You got to give people a reason to hand over their contact info, something valuable, something irresistible, what we call a lead magnet. Things like ebooks, guides, checklists, templates, mini courses, even free trials.
Well, that reminds me, the 24+ Proven Automations Guide had a really cool lead magnet example called the Pay It Forward Flywheel. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. The idea is that you give people the option to share your lead magnet with someone else who might find it helpful. It's like a built-in referral system, leveraging that social proof.
That's so smart. So once you've got those leads coming in through those awesome web forms and lead magnets, what happens next? How do you keep that momentum going?
Well, that's where email marketing comes in, specifically automated email sequences. We've all seen those welcome emails after you sign up for something online.
Yeah, for sure. But it sounds like automated email sequences can do a lot more than just a simple welcome.
Oh, absolutely. They nurture those leads, provide valuable content that's tailored to their interests, answer FAQs, showcase your expertise, and ultimately guide them towards making that purchase.
It's like having a 257 virtual salesperson working for you,
Right.
nurturing those relationships and guiding them through the sales funnel.
That's a great way to put it. And with tags and custom fields, you can really personalize those sequences based on, the information you've gathered. Remember how we talked about understanding those deeper internal and philosophical problems?
Right. So it's going beyond just basic demographics. You can actually segment your audience based on their needs and motivations. You could tag someone as interested in, say, time management or financial freedom, and then tailor your emails to those specific interests.
Exactly. And you can use custom fields to store things like their birthday or purchase history or even their preferred learning style. So it's really about creating hyper-personalized email sequences that feel like you're talking directly to them.
That's amazing. That level of personalization, but at scale. That's incredible. And it's all happening automatically in the background, freeing you up to focus on other things.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty powerful. You also mentioned pipelines and dashboards earlier. How do those fit into the whole automation picture?
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about those.
So as your business grows and your automation strategy becomes, more complex, pipelines and dashboards become really essential for visualizing and managing that customer journey. Think of a pipeline as like a visual representation of your sales process. It shows you where each lead is in their journey, from initial contact to closing the deal. And then dashboards give you that high-level view of your business performance, tracking key metrics like website, traffic-led conversion rates, sales revenue, that kind of stuff.
So it's like having a control center for your business.
Yeah,
You can see everything that's happening and how effective your efforts are.
exactly. And speaking of effectiveness, how do we actually know what's working and what's not working? That's where A/B testing comes in.
Ah, yes, A/B testing.
It lets you compare different versions of your emails, web forms, landing pages, even to see which ones are performing better. So you could test 2 different subject lines for an email, see which one gets a higher open rate, or try different calls to action on a landing page, see what leads to more conversions.
It's like a science experiment for your business, constantly optimizing and improving, and all powered by automation.
I like that analogy. And, speaking of landing pages, those are another powerful tool in your automation toolkit. They're designed with a single focus in mind, typically to capture leads or to drive a specific action.
So instead of sending people to your main website where they might get distracted, you're sending them to a page that's just focused on one thing.
Exactly. And with automation, you could actually create targeted landing pages for different segments of your audience. So each visitor sees the most relevant message, increasing your chances of converting them.
Wow, this has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of how powerful automation can be.
I'm so glad to hear that. And the big thing to remember is that automation is more than just efficiency. It's about using technology to create a better experience for everyone involved, your customers, your team. It's about freeing yourself up to focus on what truly matters, your passions, your purpose, and the people you serve.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So I think the key takeaway for our listeners today is to approach automation with intention. Start small, experiment. Don't be afraid to try new things. And most importantly, remember that automation is here to enhance the human element of your business, not to replace it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and be sure to reach out if you have any questions.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Happy automating, everyone.
This episode of The Automation Show is proudly sponsored by ClientConnector.app, the tool that simplifies client engagement, lead nurturing, and sales follow-up with seamless automation. With Client Connector, you can connect with clients faster and smarter, saving time, making every interaction count. Go to ClientConnector.app today.